can see, got a ton of shop space here. So the deal with this first gen Cummins is it goes through first and second gear pretty good. Then 34th is weird. And then once it gets in fifth gear, it doesn't want to come out of fifth gear. And to like reset it, you got to jam in reverse and then it'll shift fine. But you can't downshift. So hopefully this little package here will fix it. There's a parts number if you have a similar issue. It's got some pins and balls and springs and such.
I think this spring is broken in that one too.
To begin here, we're going to remove this whole shifter and the boot.
How's that touch the floor?
Got the carpet pulled back. We got a couple little heads going around this thing. By the looks of it, it looks like somebody's already been in here. We got some tape going on. Strip. I guess usually if you're actually going to do this repair kit, you'd have to drop your transmission because usually we don't have this hole in here, but somebody's already cut this out and been inside of here. So that actually helps it out. It makes this a little bit easier. Not saying it's going to be easy, but we'll see. Dad's an expert. He knows all about these first gen Cummins. He's had 2 of them.
Never taken one of these apart.
Now we got this little snap ring going around here. Pops right off there. You can get a cheap little tool like this one here from Harbor Freight. And now we're getting into the nitty gritty here. So we're learning as we go here, and if we look at this, looks like they probably had this thing stuck in 5th gear and they got mad at it and broke off the entire shifter there. So those little set screws stuck out the side were not normal. They built this sleeve going around this thing, as we can see here. And now that we have the shifter out of there, we have these 8 1/2 inch bolts going all around here. You're gonna pop all those off so you can remove this cover here. This whole piece that we're removing here is actually what's gonna be rebuilt. It was kind of a pain to get it loose, but right here we have a little notch. Got the old pry bar up in there, and then was able to pop it loose. The last person to work on it says, screw the next guy. There it goes. Ooh. Looks like we got a little bit of silicone on them gears. Might need to clean those up. While we're rebuilding that, we're gonna go ahead and pop this drain plug off and drain the transmission fluid. Ooh, that stuff is dirty looking.
Long pins, 3 short pins. The long pins are for your forks. These should be for your gates, I believe is what they call them. And this, I believe, is what the problem is right here. We're hoping. These wear and they break. When they break, then it won't allow it to come out of gear. Say you want to start with this one right here, you got to pull these out in a certain pattern. That should not be sticking out that far. They say to leave that one up just a little bit, but that looks a little excessive there because you don't want that pin to go all the way through. Down inside there, you don't want the pin protruding because then your shifter won't go down in there and get it bind.
What you're doing here is you're going to drive all these pins out that you see, and when you do so, it's going to loosen up all these shift arms, and these 3 rods will slide out where we took these freeze plugs out, and then you can take all your pieces and replace them with your new stuff.
You want to be careful when you're taking these rods out. This side isn't important, but on this front side, right inside here, you'll have these springs, which is going to have some tension on them. If you pull them out, it can shoot that ball and stuff out at you, so you want to make sure your punch stays in there to hold those down as you pull the rod out. Then you can release it slowly.
Now, we do understand you're used to getting balls in your face, but we don't like that. Got all the pins out. One of them was a pain, but just had to keep working and eventually just fell out there. Here's the pin that suspects probably the one that's junk. All right, so this last pin will be probably the hardest one. Removing the spring and the ball from right here. And what that'll do is allow this arm to move forward. There it is. This last arm's gonna stay in here. The reason for removing the other two is because this had to move far enough back this way to get all the springs and the ball doodads out of there. But now it's back far enough, so we're just gonna leave this how it is. And all these little pieces here, it's not super obvious what's going wrong here, but they are slightly smaller than the new ones. And you can see that they're rounded off on the edges. Don't know if that's gonna be the cause, but we'll find out real quick once we get this back together and put it back in the truck. Where the shifter goes in there, we got another snap ring on the bottom side, removing that. We're gonna go ahead and replace this spring. The one that's in it looks good, but since we have this brand new one, might as well throw it in. Thought there was nothing wrong with the spring, but as you can see, it's a little compressed there. The guy your wife tells you not to worry about, that's you. I got the new spring back in there. Have fun with that snap ring. She's a built one. Now we're gonna go ahead and throw all these new parts in. First, we're gonna pop these in this order with your ball on top here, like this. These springs are brand new, so they're gonna be probably tough to compress.
Yes.
All right, we just got this first one in. We'll show you how we did the second one. That one was a practice run. Sliding rod number 2 in. Everything's just going back together the same way that it got taken apart, referring to the pictures that you are also going to take. It was hard to show when we were taking it apart, but we have 2 of these guys, which I don't know if you can see. It's going to go down inside right here. If you can see that little opening. And we have 2 spots for those, so you got to slide those in. Using a magnet to get them dropped down in there. This is the second one here. And then we also have this little guy here, which will hold this guy in. And the spring and ball and the plastic piece down in there. Now we'll show you how we went about getting that. It is gonna take 2 people. So what Dad's gonna use, he's gonna use that punch to push down on that spring and ball. And while he's doing that, I'll slightly push this rod as he's pushing that down. And then,
Oh, hang on.
it'll slide into place like so, just like that. Not too bad, but try to do that by yourself, it'll probably be difficult. It's all back together now. Now we just got to put these little freeze plugs back in here and then throw it back in the truck. Got that cleaned up pretty decent. We're going to throw it all back together and then we'll see if it fixed her. There it goes. It's going. There. Hopefully that's fixed. We're going to back it up a little bit so we can jack up the front. Something's broke up in here. Got her jacked up. I don't know if this is the issue, but this is definitely an issue right here. I don't know about, oh my goodness, every single one is finger tight. Giant. All right, we're testing her out. So far, so good. I'm sitting back here on the old moldy love seat that's got a bunch of lot lizard juice on it. Feel right?
Still feels a little weird, but it's
good. I was flopping back here. All right, that did fix it. It's shifting a lot better, I guess. We need to start cleaning this up now. This stuff is rather dirty. All that mold on there is pretty disgusting and all up in there. As you can see, this thing is pretty rotten all throughout here where it actually has the original steel and it mates with that fiberglass. And that's actually not even the worst part. That's pretty bad too, but up under this visor, that's really bad. And so that's actually leaking, and that's why we see what we see up in there. So overall, that was a pretty easy fix. Hopefully that can help you guys out if you have a similar issue. So when we posted the first video of this thing, got it running and driving, a lot of people have commented on this thing. Not one, but two of the previous owners found the video on this thing and told us a little bit of information. One of the guys said that this was a prize from a rodeo, PRCA. And also he said that this conversion was made by Western Hauler, but also there was another guy that said he had a limo made by Federal. So I'm not for sure who did this. We can't find any other details. I am going to look in the glove box here because that guy said that it was a Western Hauler. Thought he remembered that it was somewhere in the glove box, some information, but he also owned this thing like 12 years ago. And it just amazes me. He said the truck was in really good shape, and he also posted some pictures of it in our Facebook group, Real Steel Fabrications, if you're not a member yet. Well, let's take a look in this glove box and see if there's anything that we can find in here. Doesn't say anything there. Nope, I don't see anything in there, so I'm not for sure. We'll keep looking on this rig, but anyways, this video was short. It was mostly just to get this thing fixed and shifting as it should. In the next videos, they're going to be a little bit longer. We're really going to get digging down in this thing, give it a good deep cleaning, and give it the loving that it has not had in a very good while. And if you want to continue to see videos of this truck, make sure to subscribe, give it a thumbs up, and comment what you think. And hope you and your family have a great Thanksgiving and eat a lot of turkey, because I know I'm gonna. Gobble, gobble.